Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our Superman Day show, June 12th, 2023, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including, of course, being Superman Day. We're going to be talking about Season 4 of Superman and Lois, a new season coming our way, just been announced. We're going to be talking about casting for Superman Legacy, Justice League Warworld, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask for your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss, and to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show. Let me introduce you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
Well, we are at that point in the year where you're wearing the warm clothes and I am sitting in the heat. So it's always that
Yes,
delicate balance.
it is. Indeed.
But nobody wants to hear about the fact that I'm hot and you're cold. That's a Katy Perry song, I think. They are here to listen to us talk about Superman. And because Superman Homepage Live is live across multiple platforms, we want to hear from the people watching us right now. So, if we don't have too much to talk about, and thankfully they dropped the news about Superman and Lois season 4 right before we started recording. So I don't know how that's going to go. We do take calls. And to do that, you go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button. There, if you are watching with an external speaker, you want to hit mute or turn that down before we actually have you on. But you can actually watch the show in the green room. Now, if you want to use your smartphone, you can scan the QR code there. If you are going to use your smartphone, please use a headset, because if you just use like the mic and all that, it has this cracking thing that's really weird.
Yes, and if you're a little bit shy and don't want to get on the phone tonight to talk to us, then feel free to post your comments both on Facebook and on YouTube. We can see the feed, we can answer your questions, respond to your comments. But if you would like your question or comment featured live on the screen, then go to YouTube and click the the dollar symbol there. No, it's actually the super chat symbol. The You decide on a dollar amount you're willing to donate. We'll feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along tonight. But thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. And if you want to join those fine folks and help support the show, then simply click the join button below. And there are different levels of membership for different levels of perks that you can get. And also you can join through patreon.com/Superman homepage. Well, Mike, as you said, the big news dropped just before the show went live today that Season 4 of Superman and Lois is coming our way. So let's start with TV side of things. We usually go with the movie stuff. We'll put that down the level of the list of what we're going to talk about tonight, and start with the TV side of things. And the renewal of Season 4 of Superman and Lois is the big news for tonight's show. And it couldn't have dropped on a better day, being that it's Superman Day, June 12th. Superman Day. DC Comics kind of made that day a proclamation. What was it, about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was right around the time of Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
in the 75th anniversary. So it seemed like, because it was the Wednesday before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that you would want to have the name that, because you could then release the comics, which we'll be talking about a little later. I prefer to think of this as the Superman Day according to the Gregorian calendar,
Okay.
as opposed to the Superman Day in April, which is the Greek Orthodox version. So I'm going to keep banging on about this joke because they have like 15 Superman days.
Yes. People are saying, well, why isn't April, wasn't it when Action Comics #1 came out? Why isn't that the whole thing? And I think a lot of people just associate June because of June, the cover date of 1938 being Action Comics, and then
Yeah.
Superman, as you said, Man of Steel was coming out then, so it was kind of like they all tried to tie it in together. But yes, June 12th, Superman Day. It's in those calendar kind of websites that you go to that we do all those today's whatever day it is. It's obviously you got things like Valentine's Day and Father's Day, but they've got a day for everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cheese Day and Sandwich Day and ride your bike to work day and all those kinds of things. That today is Superman Day. So Superman and Lois season 4 has just been announced on the CW. So it's not going to Max or HBO Max. It's going to stick with on the CW. It's going to be the only remaining DC property on the newly owned Nexstar CW network. It's going to be back to 10 episodes for a season. This season was 13, and we've still got 2 remaining for season 3. But 10 episodes for season 4. They have negotiated budget cuts, pretty much in the line of reducing the number of times series regular cast members are shown. So it would just be the core cast members that they'll mainly be focusing on to cut costs. Hopefully the budget for special effects aren't, tampered with too much. Your thoughts on the whole one? It's great that's renewed, but were you hoping that maybe it would go somewhere else, or what was your take on it?
It just depends on which cast members are cut. I mean, obviously, we probably won't see Sophie. That's like a partial joke, but I'm actually kind of serious. I don't. The thing is that they've made like all of the characters so intrinsically important to the show that if you got rid of like Kyle, or you got rid of Lana, or you got rid of Chrissy, I think you'd lose something. So it could be more that you won't see everyone in every single episode, which would kind of make more sense. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things where I'm okay with 10 episodes because the first season was only supposed to be what, like 11 or 13, and then they got a 15. And then, they had 15, I think, for the second season. They've had 13 for this season. I think both the showrunners, the writing staff, and everyone involved behind the scenes have shown that they can do a lot with whatever time they're allotted.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping to see like a really tight story to go over the 10 episodes. But overall, I'm just excited that we're going to see it. I'm selfishly hoping that they don't start shooting until like October or November. That way, hopefully, members of the cast can come to DragonCon. That is a completely selfish thing, I realize, but also we're in the midst of a writer's strike, so it's they can't work on anything right now. And it looks like I don't know. They may have known this was coming for some time, and they may have been prepping before the strike. But pencils are down right now, or keyboards, I guess, would be down right now. So when that all gets worked out, whenever that is, I don't know if they're going to be able to get it like start up like production in September like they did last year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all that irons out and whether or not they're able to negotiate things and get it all done. But so Brad Schwartz, the president of entertainment at the CW network, said in a statement that they're thrilled to bring back Superman and Lois, and the other one that they renewed was All American Homecoming. These series are 2 of our strongest performers across our linear and digital platforms, with some of the most passionate fan bases in all of television. We're grateful to our partners at Warner Brothers Television and Berlanti Productions for their continued collaboration, and we cannot wait to get started on the new seasons. Tyler Hoechlin and Jesse Rath and Nicole Maines were at the Superman celebration this past weekend. I should have the Q&A with Tyler Hoechlin up on our YouTube channel before too long, so that'll be interesting to see what he had to say. I do recall him. I've heard that he'd said something about the end of this season and how it's a bit of a cliffhanger. And obviously we know that Lex Luthor is coming in the last 2 episodes of this current season. So, that'll hopefully play into where they go with the story in season 4. But I'll give you more details on that in the coming days. And Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch are both attending Supernova here in Sydney next weekend. So they're jet setting across the pond as it is to Australia, and I will be attending Supernova here in Sydney, and I'm aiming. I've put in a request for an interview, so we'll see if that pans out. But great timing for them to be able to come to conventions and to be able to announce these things. And I saw Bitsy announce it on her social media accounts, saying that they've been renewed for season 4. So obviously they're all excited about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad you're getting a chance to at least meet them on the celebrity row. Uh,
Mm.
if nothing else, I don't know
Well,
what you
yeah,
could work your magic with
yes.
with the media people for Supernova. Um, but yeah, no,
See
I'm
how that
you
goes.
know it's something you just said that triggered a thought. It would be nice if the final season was like Superman versus Lex Luthor, or Superman and Lois versus Lex Luthor,
Hmm.
and have him be the main antagonist for the season. Because as we're going to be talking about, I'm really like not puzzled but impressed that they have gone with this past episode. They kind of went against the grain because this past episode kind of felt like a season finale
Yeah.
in many ways. So it's just interesting that it's just interesting that they were like the last 2 episodes we're going to kind of focus on Lex Luthor. And why would you, it would have been a shame. This is the point I'm trying to make. My
Mm.
brain finally caught up with my mouth. It would have been a shame to have like 2 episodes with Lex Luthor kind of end on a cliffhanger and that's it.
Yeah. And it's good that I think I saw someone's post the other day on one of the social media platforms that no Superman TV series has gone less than 4 seasons. So it's great that Superman and Lois can continue that trend. Lois and Clark went 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I'll talk about live action,
Uh,
obviously.
yeah, I was about to say animated. We could
Yeah,
probably make a couple arguments, but no, they're absolutely right. Every Superboy went 4 seasons. Smallville went 10. Adventures of Superman went
6.
6, but technically it was like 4 seasons worth of episodes. But that's getting pedantic. Uh, so it kind of makes sense because Superman does well on television.
Mm.
I'm hoping we're going to see that animated wise too, coming up with My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw in Krypton in there, then I only got 2 seasons, but Superman wasn't technically,
I,
you know.
yeah, it's like at least with Smallville, Clark Kent was a character.
Mm. Yeah, and
Here we're
Titans.
here it's
What did Titans go for? 4? Yeah,
yeah, Titans went for
yeah.
4. So and Superboy was in it for 3, I think,
Mm.
2 or 3.
2.5 even.
I haven't seen the third up. Yeah, it went. He was in the. He came in the second season. I haven't seen seasons 3 or 4 yet, so that's where I'm tripping myself up.
Yeah. So yeah, great news. Season 4. Obviously, there are some. It's great news. No matter how you look at it, but there are some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There are some cuts to be made, obviously. So hopefully, it's not too devastating that some of the things that they have to manage to be able to have it continue. 10 seasons is enough of a cut. 10 episodes is enough of a cut down from 13 or 14 or 15 that we can compensate for that. But hopefully, the main family, Lois, Clark, the boys, we might not see as much of Kyle and Lana and Sarah, and I don't necessarily think that would be a bad thing. I like him to focus on the family, but and Chrissy and that kind of stuff. If it's mainly just cut down to that core, and we don't see too many of the others, then I'm not too concerned.
I wonder if they'll cut out John Henry and Nat,
Yeah,
um, which
or
would be kind
keep
of
them and
unfortunate
cut
because
out the others.
I really I like them as characters.
Mm,
But at the same time, if you're gonna make cuts, it's great that we've gotten as much of them as we have.
yep.
Um, but on the other hand, they're not truly essential to the show. I feel bad because I like them.
Mm. Yeah, I know.
It feels kind of cold. It feels kind of cold hearted to say, oh, they're not essential to the show. They could just get rid of them. Uh, that's kind of not how I feel. Like maybe only seeing them for like one episode, because really with everything going on, maybe them moving out of Smallville is good for their characters.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see where they go. We've got the 2 episodes remaining, as I said, but we don't have a new one this week. It's a repeat of The Dress this week, so tomorrow night you'll see that episode rerun on the CW. But we did get a new episode last week that you reviewed for us, which was called Complications, and you gave this one another 4 out of 5, saying once again you're giving it that rating because the pacing was a little bit off. But as you've always said, a poorer episode of Superman and Lois is still better than most episodes of other shows. But what did you like in particular about Complications?
The death of Tia was really moving.
Mm.
I liked it. I like that she died for a number of reasons. That again sounds awful. One, the whole racing to try to save her gave John Henry a chance to show compassion for Bruno and Mateo. But more than anything, it was just Superman's compassion towards her at the end. Like she's a killer. She was not a good person.
Mm.
She was a gangster. She killed people for money. That was her thing.
Yep.
Poor Mr. Orr just got splatted there right at the end. I guess it was time for him to leave the show. But no matter that, she was a woman dying.
Yeah.
And when Superman looked at her and said, you can let go, that resonates on just such a real level. And then him bringing not taking her to the DEO wrong series, Mike, the DOD or anything, but bringing her back to Bruno and Mateo so that they could have a chance to kind of say, even though she was gone, they have a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that jumped off that now Bruno wants to take care of his son. So he makes a deal to basically no charges will be brought against Mateo and that he'll have something of a normal life. Not that he'll ever have a normal life, but no, it was just a really good episode.
Yeah.
It's just the way everything flowed together was a little weird. But I liked the individual parts of it on their own, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand what you're saying. So, yeah, it was a really good episode, very solid. I liked the way things moved along, quite quickly. And there was some touching moments, some character moments. Like, even the villains in this story aren't, as you were saying, they're not two-dimensional. There's a lot of depth to them. You could see the depth of love for his family that Bruno had, and that, he's obviously moved to do the best for them, but obviously where he draws the line is a lot further down the moral compass, the moral road than a lot of us would go, and so he made some choices that were obviously a little bit dodgy, but nevertheless, a very good episode. I love the way it kind of played out, and we've got some questions once again from John Patrick Van Pelt, who likes to send us some queries about each episode. He says here, do you guys think Kyle will keep Clark Kent's secret identity a secret, and how long will it take before Kyle finds out that Jordan also has superpowers?
I'm pretty sure Kyle already knows. I don't see Clark saying, I have superpowers, and not being open about the rest of the family. So that's my take on that. That was a cute scene, too. Of him kind of geeking out and realizing, who Clark was. And Clark basically like, you have to promise not to say anything. So
Yeah, it's he's pretty trusting. I've got to say, Clark. Like Kyle's never been the most trustworthy type of person. I mean, he's cheated on his wife and all this kind of other stuff that he's had going on. So he's not been the most, but he was like a little kid in a candy shop. Kyle finding out, it was like he
Hmm.
was giddy about it, and then he went off his rocker when he found out that Chrissy had kind of lied to him about this, that, and the other, and then he realized later on in the episode that he obviously overreacted. But yeah, that was an interesting moment. You want to say?
I was about to say, I agree he overreacted. I do not agree that not that you said it, but I think he should have been hurt
Yeah,
because she did kind of gaslight him uh, a little bit. So that's a little hurtful.
yeah, she made him feel small. I'm surprised he's not as upset at Lana. I mean, Lana's known as well, and he didn't like. There was no reaction there, and she was his wife.
There's so much there's so much going on in that family
Yeah, it's like
that's
enough's enough.
probably low on the well, like everything going on with Sarah. I'm sure it's just like that puts a lot into perspective. So
Yeah. Seeing Jordan's first X-ray vision, what do you guys think of the new technology, and why do you think Pia reacted the way she did? Um, what I'm not sure what your questions react why she reacted to the X-ray vision, or do you mean to other something else, John? If you want to clarify that for us, I'm not sure, but I thought Jordan's X-ray vision coming in was interesting. It played differently to the way they did it in Smallville. Remember, it was like there wasn't what was the catalyst for him. The catalyst was almost like a panic attack over his mother's you know,
hmm
um, pending surgery. So that was an interesting take on it. And he kind of got a handle on it pretty quickly because he was able to then later on in the waiting room be able to, check in on what was going on with his mother and um, be able to fix things when it needed to be fixed when he zoomed in and out when things were going a little bit awry there.
yeah, very Man of Steel in terms of the special effects too, and the way
Mm.
they represented um,
X-ray vision, yeah.
the X-ray vision. And at no point did he look into the girls' locker room, which I thought was an improvement.
Do you think Matteo did the right thing in trying to find a real doctor for his mother? And when is Bruno going to realize he can't save everyone, even if he creates the cure? Yeah, Matteo is a great kid. He's always trying to do the right thing. He's just obviously got some difficult decisions to make. But I don't think Bruno ever is going to realize that. I think towards the end of the episode, he realized he couldn't save Pia, but that was a difficult decision for him to come to and a realization that he wasn't comfortable with. But it's never easy to say goodbye to family and loved ones.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Do you guys think Mateo and Bruno will let John Henry Irons and Natalie help him find the real cure for his wife? Well, Pia's dead now, so not sure if you caught that, John, but Pia has passed away. So there is no cure to be had. There's no new need for looking for a cure anymore. It's all done and dusted. Whatever she had, it was only for her. There was no other cure for anybody else. It's not like it's a disease that's troubling anybody else in Metropolis or in the world. It was just a thing that was particularly for Pia. So I guess Bruno is now kind of at a loss as to what his focus is.
hmm And you got to kind of wonder what's going to happen to all of his enterprises because
Yeah.
while he was a criminal, what about his hospital?
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Because his whole thing has been about helping Hobbs Bay, or trying to change that part of Metropolis to be better. And you wonder now if, because his wife's gone, if he'll have that drive still, or if he'll just be despondent and not worry
yeah.
about yeah, not focus on anything like that. Do you think DoD will keep their promise in keeping Mateo safe? And why didn't Bizarro Superman have his voice like he normally does this time around? Well, yeah, I do believe the DoD will help Mateo, and Superman will ensure that things are on, up on the up and up there. Uh, as far as Bizarro is concerned, you got to remember he's now been reanimated. He is a zombie, if you like, more so than
hmm
he ever was. He is now no longer the embodiment of the reverse world Superman Clark Kent. He is now more of a kind of empty shell.
He's a zombie with
He's
Superman's
like,
powers.
yeah, he's like Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So I'm going to be interested to see how they play that one out, because it it was interesting that everybody, not that Bruno was happy, but everyone was feeling kind of better, and it's just like, Lois came through her surgery, she's in pain, but she's on the mend, and it's just like, no, you guys got one more thing to worry about besides Lex Luthor.
yes.
Um,
What do you think
I
was the catalyst for him reanimating? What was it? Was it the surge? Was it the power
It
outage?
may have been just the things they were doing to him.
Mm.
That could have done that. The thing about this episode, though, that amused me the most is, y'all have Hooters there in Australia?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay. So there is a joke that you go there for the wings. And the fact that they made that a joke on this episode with Bazoombas,
yes.
fantastic name, by the way, top flight gag. But the fact that Clark Kent said the wings are good, I was just like, that is a very Clark Kent thing to do.
That was that. Yeah, that was just like that's funny. That was pretty hilarious. Most kids would have been going, What are, like, and they wouldn't have got it. But yeah, it's nice that they kind of throw in these more adult jokes that don't necessarily bring down the level of the episode in any way. It's just kind of a fun humor thing. But we have a promo for the next episode. I'm going to try play it here. It might have to be cut out later on, but let's have a look at the trailer for the next episode.
I'm one of the people Lex blames. What Pia said about him being the devil, she's right.
Let me explain to you how things are going to work around here. What happens next is up to you, but your time is running out.
So interesting there in that Lex isn't bald in that particular shot. Those particular, maybe they're flashbacks, I don't know, but he's not not bald because he's Lex Luthor. Maybe he shaves his head like they do it in Man of Steel, in the Batman v Superman or Justice League, whatever the Zack Snyder films. Yeah, interesting. Because fans looking at that wouldn't necessarily go, "Oh, that's Lex Luthor," though, only because they say it's Lex that you know what it is.
Yeah. Now, I think most of this next episode is going to be setting up who Lex was and his journey in prison.
Mm.
So, and then he sees Lois. Now, that could be him getting arrested in the past.
Yes,
with him having a full head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little sad that I have to wait a week, but also it's nice to not have to rush to get the review done. Only have to do 10 next year. I'm excited.
Yeah. Maybe I think that's the negotiations Michael was part of the CW. So
yeah, I was
listen,
like, guys, look, I'm gonna be in a new house. I don't know what my job situation's gonna be. Could you just do 10? Just to make my life better.
Can you make the writers go on strike so maybe it's delayed a little bit so I've got more time up my sleeve?
I am all powerful.
Very good, yes. All right, so yes, we did get a little bit of a sneak peek there at Lex Luthor, but they did release this image this past week of Lex from the upcoming episodes. Obviously, played there by Michael Cutlitz from The Walking Dead. You probably know him best from that. But the official description for the 13th and final episode of Season 3 of Superman and Lois, we do have an episode coming before then, which we just saw a bit of a promo for, but the final episode of this season is titled, What Kills You Only Makes You Stronger. And that episode just says, all of Smallville comes together to view a meteor shower. Lex Luthor makes his move. A meteor shower.
Meteor shower.
Kryptonite.
Meteor showers in Smallville don't mix.
Could we be getting could there be a rocket ship in that meteor shower? Supergirl, anyone?
I don't know if they do that, considering they have to cut cast next year.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to see where that meteor shower, what that means. So looking forward to that. And Superman and Lois obviously has been doing well, and that's why it's been renewed at the CW, because its ratings have been really high for this third season. The Hollywood Reporter claimed that, it was I think it was TV Line, or one of those places that covers the ratings, said that the TV ratings show viewership for Superman Lois at 666K / 0.1. I don't know what that is, but it's 666 is interesting that popped up. Rise up to its best audience since April 4th, which was also the third largest score of the season. So it's doing really well as far as its ratings. I don't know what it's comparable to as far as other networks are concerned, but the fact that the audience ratings continue to rise for the show is great news, and obviously led towards the fourth season announcement.
It's probably why they decided to renew it instead of Gotham Knights. And I feel bad because I know there are people out there that like that show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you're making these decisions, even though they don't quote unquote own the back catalog of the show, you go with what your stronger property is, and having a show that is actually about Superman instead of a Batman show that is not about Batman. Maybe that was an easier decision to make.
Makes sense. It does. So, there is the whole Superman and Lois part of the show. We're over the halfway mark now. So we're going to take a quick break and then come back on the flip side to talk about the movie stuff, do comic book stuff, This Week in History, the fan favorite segment of our show, and so much more. So don't go anywhere, folks. Stick around. We'll be back right after these messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer, the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Holy icicles! In their daily pursuit of justice, our superheroes characters do battle with the world's most evil villains. Where will the next evil villain come from? Maybe you will create them in Post Superheroes Create a Villain Contest.
Grand prize. 9 kids win a 1-week trip to Hollywood. They'll have breakfast with these superheroes.
And the villain they've created.
Second prize, 1,000 win bicycles.
Millions will enter, and everyone who does gets Superheroes Puffy stickers.
Details on specially marked boxes of Alphabet, Super Sugar Crisp, Honeycomb, and Pebble cereals. You can draw and paint your villain in the picture provided. 3 different pictures.
Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman and Robin.
3 grand prizes per picture.
The most original villains win.
Holy Hollywood! Post Superheroes Create a Villain Contest. Details on specially marked boxes of Alphabet, Super Sugar Crisp, Honeycomb, and Pebble cereals.
Some of the contests used to get happened with breakfast cereals. They don't do those kind of things that much anymore, do they?
Not really, because breakfast cereals are still a thing, but not like that. Plus, it was easier probably when that contest happened because the Super Friends were still a thing. I mean, Danny Dark did the voice of Superman in that commercial, so you had a built-in audience where there was only 3 channels, and Saturday morning cartoons were still important. Whereas nowadays, not so much.
Not so much. Mind the Gap asking if we've ever read the Max Immortal or any other Superman copies.
I have not read the Max Immortal. That was done by Rick Veitch. It was kind of his thing on Superman. I've read Supreme. I've read some of the original and the Alan Moore version of it. Supreme Power, which was done by J. Michael Straczynski, which was just a modern a 2003 modernization of the Squadron Supreme. What's another one? There's Mr. Majestic was supposed to be like a Superman takeoff.
Yes.
For years, I saw a quote that I cannot find to save my life. That basically Mr. Majestic was what Jim Lee thought Superman should do.
Right.
Like, if you have all that power, you need to be doing something with it, which is a tremendously bad reading of the character.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of others. There have been a lot of kind of pastiches and examinations of the character through other characters that are like him. So
yeah.
The Samaritan in Astro City, Mind the Gap, says, yes, I've read some of Astro City as well.
Very cool. All right, well, let's jump into the movie side of things. And according to Deadline.com, James Gunn is going to be conducting in-person screen tests for the main cast roles of Superman Legacy, mainly being Clark Kent as Superman and Lois Lane. These are going to be taking place between June 17th and June 20th. And he and co-CEO of DC Studios, Peter Safran, will be sitting in on these. And reportedly, these are the cast members that will be there doing the in-person auditions. We've got a couple of Clark Kent Superman wannabes, Nicholas Hoult, David Corenswet, and Tom Brittney. I hadn't heard of Tom Brittney being named in that group yet, but there you have it. There's 3 of the gentlemen that are supposedly doing some in-person interviews and auditions. And then for the ladies, we've got Emma Mackey, Rachel Brosnahan, and Phoebe Dynevor, supposedly trying out for the role of Lois Lane. We previously mentioned and showed an interview with Rachel Brosnahan, who plays the marvelous Miss Maisel, I believe. Is that the show?
Yes.
So, a couple of interesting selections. I'm sure there'll be others possibly trying out, but there's the ones that were in the reports as to who they would be looking at this next week or whatever it might be. Next week as to the in-person auditions. So other people have sent in audition tapes, and James Gunn will be calling those who impressed him to meet him in person and audition, possibly against or with each other if they're doing some kind of chemistry tests, to see who kind of clicks together. So that'll be interesting to see where they go with that.
Yeah, I would assume you would want the Supermans and the Loises to be kind of paired together to see how they appear together on screen.
Yeah.
So
on-screen chemistry is a big deal. Obviously they did that with Christopher Reeve and all the different ladies who were up for the role of Lois Lane back in the day, and that's what we got, was that scene from the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. That's what they filmed and used in that cut of the movie. Interesting to see what comes out of those in-person auditions. But the other movie that's on our screens this week, imminent for the general public, obviously there have been advanced screenings and what have you, is The Flash. And we have Sasha Calle playing Supergirl in that movie. and she had this to say in regards to, feeling super. When did she really feel super in playing Supergirl? Have a look.
Do you remember the moment when you first felt super?
It took a couple months. It's a large process of there's thousands of people working with you, making sure that the suit is okay, that your hair is okay, that your makeup feels in tune with the character. And there was a moment where I was on wires. It's actually the moment in the movie where Supergirl is taking in the sun and she's like levitating. And that was a very long day. I was in the wires and Andy was like, guys, take her off wires. And he was like, Sasha, come over here. And he was like, look. And I just remember feeling out of body. Like I felt like I turned into a 5-year-old version of myself looking up at this superhero. I wish I would have had that superhero when I was little. I just felt so proud and I got...
So there you go. That's just a bit of the interview that IMDb put up on their YouTube channel, and you can watch the full thing on our website. But she just seems really like just giddy over the fact that she got to play a superhero and seems to love superheroes in general.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Not that anything of what happened with Ezra Miller could be considered good. They are having obviously issues, but one of the upsides is that Sasha Kelly gets to be one of the faces of the advertising. It's kind of like Sarah Douglas being like the kind of the person who did the most press for Superman 2 because everyone else was just kind of annoyed about how everything fell out. So
yeah, so now she's doing a great job of doing all the promos, and I'm so happy for her that that's all worked out. So yeah, the Flash movie in theaters this week, I believe it is. So go out and see it if you're so inclined. I think I will be checking it out. It looks good from all accounts. But on the animated movie front, we got the official trailer and announcement for Justice League Warworld. Here is a little bit, if I can get it up. And again, this might get cut later on, but here is the promo trailer for that.
Good.
Yeah, but doesn't seem to have much in connection with the Warworld of Mongol. I mean, I know he's in it there at the end and we see his voice. Is it somehow connected? Had he sent them, the 3, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, back in time to, alternate locations and alternate timelines or alternate realities? I mean, it looks like Clark Kent has been sent back as an agent of an FBI agent to a kind of alien invasion 1950s style thing, and Wonder Woman's gone back even further into like the Wild West, and Batman, I'm not sure where he's gone, but it seems like it's more of a Trinity movie than a Justice League movie.
I'm wondering if like Jonah Hex is there, Warlord is there. I'm wondering if these are things that Mongol has captured, and they're all sections of Warworld, and they're made to believe that they're actually in these places when really they're on the floating planet of Doom. So,
Mark,
no, it looks. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mark Lax in the comments asks if the Black Mercy is somehow involved, but I mean, the Black Mercy was about giving you the life that you always wanted, or that all your heart's desires. This is almost not what they want.
Yeah, I mean that's the man's
Could be
thinking.
A version
though.
of that.
I'm going to give him that. He's thinking. I guess I'll have to go back and watch like Superman: The Man of Tomorrow and finally watch the Legion one too, to kind of get caught up, because this is like the first one that I've seen the trailer for going, I actually kind of want to see that.
So yeah, very interesting the way that they've now it makes sense why when we were looking at the cast listings, they had him as Agent Kent and Batman as Officer Wayne, and so that makes sense now. So very interested to see Justice League Warworld. They also put some graphic material, as in when I say graphic material, as in some promo material. There's like a banner there for Justice League Warworld. poster image, and you can see them there in their alternate identities of wherever they get sent to. And that is the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray box artwork for the characters. Jonah Hex in there, as you said, and interesting kind of storyline for this, where they go with it. But I am intrigued, and this will be released July 25th, so we only have to wait just over a month for it to be released. So July 25th digital and July 24th for DVD and Blu-ray. So there you have it. July 24th is when you'll be able to get this and watch it. Justice League Warworld.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. Just quickly on the movie side of things before we move off that and go into our regular segments. If you're in Canada, Toronto to be exact, Downtown Yonge community is doing a free movie screening of DC League of Super Pets on August 2nd at 7 p.m. So that's something you might want to check out. But let's jump into the This Week in History segment. Here is your intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right, we're going to do this as quickly as possible as we are rapidly running out of time. We're going back to 1943 to start off with Action Comics, number 63. Superman fighting a... let's not dwell on that too much. Jumping ahead to 1963, we have Superman Annual number 7. Which is of course, a all reprint, the Silver Anniversary issue. I love that cover. I have a copy of that somewhere around here.
Cool.
And World's Finest number 135, which has Superman, Batman, and Robin actually fighting like a villain. In 1973, we got Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 133, which. I guess she is the bomb. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Another World's Finest issue in this one. In this case, World's Finest number 219. You got a very confused Superman looking at that
Bigfoot,
looking at that footprint. And we got Metamorpho in this one as well. 1983, we have the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl number 11. That will be the title of that book for another couple of issues. Really kind of interesting Gil Kane cover there. In 1993, the reign of the Superman is still upon us with Superman, the Man of Steel, number 24, where Steel and the Eradicator have it out. That was a good issue. Steel yourself, really? You have that on the cover? Okay. 2003, we have Adventures of Superman number 617. Which has a continuation of the Joe Casey run. We also have Superman and Batman Generations 3, number 6. If you have about 3 hours to kill, you can read my review of that from back in 2003, because I was wordy back then. 2013, we have Smallville Season 11, number 14 with Supergirl. That's a great costume. We also have Superboy, number 21. Which with Crypto, which I love, and Superman Unchained number 1 and its 15 billion variant covers, which I loved because some of them were really nice. In the real world, in June 11th, Sherman Howard, who played Lex Luthor on the Superboy series from seasons 2 through 4, was born in 1949. On June 13th, a lot of death, just to tell everybody this time.
Yes,
Danny Dark passed away in 2004.
We heard Danny Dark's voice a little bit earlier in that ad.
And the greatest live-action Perry White ever, Lane Smith, unfortunately passed away in 2005. On June 14th, Man of Steel was released in the theaters 10 years ago.
Wow. All my memories have been coming up on Facebook of me in New York for the world premiere, and I was just like, wow, it's 10 years ago. Met Henry Cavill.
And how I had to turn that down. So, but, Scott Vinicombe had a good time from what I understand. June 15th, Ross Andrew, who drew Superman occasionally in the 1970s and 80s, was born in 1925. Back to Death on June 16th. George Reeves committed suicide in 1959. Kurt Swan died in 1997, legendary Superman artist, and apparently it is traditionally commemorated as the day Krypton was destroyed.
A lot of death.
So, yeah. And on June 17th, which is this Saturday, Superman 3 was released into theaters in 1983, and that is this week in history.
Well, there you go. That's a big week. Like as I said, a lot of death when you throw in Krypton as well. But obviously, they're hypothetical. I mean,
Yeah.
they're kind of,
that kind of increases it
fictional,
exponentially.
Yeah, but they're fictional deaths. We lost a lot of great people this week in history. So thank you for that, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a go at the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, so our question from last week was, what was your favorite episode of Superman the Animated Series? Who did we have up first?
John Patrick Van Pelt wrote in, my favorite episodes of Superman the Animated Series are Nighttime, A Fish Story from Season 3, World's Finest, Livewire, Speed Demons from Season 2, Feeding Time, The Way of All Flesh, The Last Son of Krypton from Season 1, and my favorite crossover of the series has to be Toys in the Hood from Static Shock, when Static teams up, easy for me to say, when Static teams up with Superman when his old nemesis Toyman appears in Dakota City.
There you go. Thank you very much. All those lists. Okay. Ryan Ignatius Pratt said, my favorite episode of Superman the Animated Series would have to be the 3-part World's Finest arc, because good Superman Batman team up. I'm always a fan of a good Batman-Superman team up. And while I know the tale is technically 3 episodes, I count it as one singular story. And it was kind of marketed that way when it was put out as a movie too. So well done. Thank you, Ryan.
Heath Fedor wrote in, my favorite episode of Superman the Animated Series was A Little Piece of Home. I just love the back and forth between Lex and Superman. It's a beautiful showcase of 2 of the world's most powerful people in a power struggle. Clancy Brown just owned the animated Lex.
Yes, he did. Thank you, Heath. Luke Lazalde wrote in saying, the late Mr. Kent. I've always loved the portrayal of Lana Lang in the animated series. The first time I watched the episode, there are 2 moments that have stuck with me. The first is Lana reveling reveling in making Lois jealous, and where am I? And the second is when Bowman realizes Clark Kent is Superman but is executed a second later.
That was such a dark ending to that episode. I love that episode. It's definitely top 3 for me of the entire series. But man, was that a good one. It was a good Clark Kent episode.
So there you have it. Thank you to those people for sending in their fan favorite answers to this question. What is our new question for this week, Michael?
Oh, the new question is, what is your favorite Dan Jurgens Superman image? Yeah, narrow that down.
Good luck. So, yes, what is your favorite Dan Jurgens Superman image? The email address to send your answers to is on the bottom of your screen right now, info@supermanhomepage.com, and we will check those out when we return to this segment next week. So get involved in the fan favorite segment of our show. Apologies to Mark, who is hanging on to try to talk to us tonight. We won't get a chance to chat with him. But from the comic book side of things, here is what you can read this week if you are a Superman fan. This is what is being released from DC Comics. We have DC Pride Through the Years, #1, a one-shot. Also out this week is Superman Lost #4, the 4th issue of 10, and it's available in a couple of different variant covers. Also out this week is Absolute Dark Knight Death Metal hardcover. There's a Dark Crisis Young Justice hardcover. And there's also a Superman Camelot Falls Deluxe Edition hardcover out this week as well. So that is what you have to look forward to if you are a comic book fan. This past week...
I just want to add Absolute Death Metal in existence. Absolute John Byrne's Man of Steel still not existing.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Go figure. This past weekend saw the Superman celebration take place in Metropolis, Illinois. As I said, Tyler was there along with Nicole and Jesse Rath. And it seemed like a great time was had by all. There are a whole slew of photos and videos up on our website from that. And thank you to all the people who donated those or allowed us to use those. And there will be more, including the Tyler Hoechlin Q&A, which will be posted on our website shortly in the next couple of days. So make sure you check all that out. And there are conventions coming up this week, including Awesome Con in Washington, D.C., Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Supernova Sydney, as I said, here in Sydney, Australia. And heaps of other merchandise and things that you can check out. There's I love the Tom and Jerry Cosbaby Superman collectible set that we posted up on our website. There is a teaser for an upcoming Christopher Reeve statue from J&D and so much more. Check all those things out at our website from this past week. But for now, that is tonight's episode of Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode and spending the last hour with us tonight. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, Capes, Tights and Lightsabers, Diner Guy, Mark Lax, Mind the Gap, Big Daddy, L. Rob, JP Rocha, and so many others, Geiger68. So many people who joined us tonight. Thank you for your participation, both watching the show live and in your comments and questions that you posted. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, John Patrick Van Pelt, Tina Murray, and Douglas Meacham. And thank you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Thank you very much.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
Now, you won't be here next week, so you're taking the week off, but happy birthday to your wife for next week.
Thank you.
So I'll be joined by a different co-host next week. I'll let you know who that is once I organise that. But thank you, Michael, for your involvement in tonight's show. And I will be back next week with a different co-host for just next week. Michael will be back after that. Don't worry about that. He's not going anywhere. We'll be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. Happy Superman Day. I'm Steve Eunice. On behalf of myself and Michael Bailey, thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.